Back here on CBS Sports HQ on the clock, presented by Jeep. With the 27th overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Nick Smith Jr. out of Arkansas, a shifty combo guard with a high motor. Number one recruit in 2022 out of high school, according to 24/7 Sports. Eric Musselman, his head coach, said, quote, "I think his ability to create his own shot and his length both really stand out. His ability to understand spacing, his ability to be creative when plays break down have been really impressive." End quote. Nick Smith Jr. headed to play with Brandon Miller in Charlotte. Matt Norlander.
Yeah, and those two played together on the grassroots circuit. And listen, that's a wonderful, case of two guys that know each other well reuniting. Well, by the way, Arkansas now has two players that have become first-round picks. I'm excited to see what Nick Smith. This to me is a ton of value, okay? Because Nick Smith Jr. was besieged by a knee injury that he suffered last summer before he got going at Arkansas. He didn't play for much of the first half of the season, played fewer than half of Arkansas's games last season. And I do think there's a chance for him to grow into a player that is one of the top 10 scorers in this draft overall. So now he's going to a spot where they're going to, quite clearly with how Charlotte is drafting here, they're going to have some roster reconstruction. We'll wait and see what James Bouknight's future might foretell down there. But he's going to have his opportunities, and maybe, just maybe, maybe it's really good for Brandon Miller, and maybe it's good for Nick Smith Jr. that they actually wind up being a combo again and trying to play and grow alongside the centerpiece of that franchise right now with LaMelo Ball. Charlotte, certainly one of the teams that has been among the most intriguing squads and franchises here on draft night with who they've gone with and why.
We've had quite a string of B's and B pluses here. Where are you at on this grade?
A minus.
Okay.
And I don't know that it's going to hit, but philosophically, you get to this point in the draft, and you've basically got two choices. You can swing for the high upside play, or you can look for a high return on a low salary and get a Christian Brown type rotation player. If you're a team that's rebuilding and the playoffs aren't necessarily a strong priority, taking a big swing is the path that makes the most sense. And this is a swing because Nick Smith was the top-ranked high school player in the country a year ago. Because of the knee, in large part, he was not the player we expected. However, there were other concerns. His feel for the game wasn't what we expected. He always seemed to be in a rush. And defensively, he was a liability. Now, if we think that is in large part due to the knee and due to the pressure of trying to perform, then there's a lot of faith that you have a big guard who can really score the basketball, who can play on and off and has a very high ceiling. There's a potential for a very high return at this pick. So philosophically, I really buy into the pick, and his talent is high enough where it could really, really work out. There's a chance it doesn't work. But at this point in the first round, this was the right strategic play.
Real quick, Adam and the group at 247 know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, trust their rankings implicitly. We have an aberrational kind of year. Maybe it's impacted by the later effects of COVID. But here's the point. Nick Smith Jr., Derek Lively II, Dariq Whitehead, Kyle Filipowski, and Cason Wallace, top 5 players in class of 2022. Filipowski's back at Duke. All the other players did not wind up going in the top 10. So there is the potential, and that's not normally what happens. There is the potential, really, that we could get some years down the road and see that all of the guys that I just mentioned, their talent was easily identifiable and undeniable at that point. Maybe they do become some of the best value plays, Hakeem, a few years down the road. Teams are obviously seeing a bargain with where they're going.